What is up, Light Fighters? Welcome back to the channel. This is Light Fighters Anonymous. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sure you guys have guessed it, but I get asked all the time, how do you look so fucking cool? And the answer is simple, one thing, cultural appropriation.
A dirty girl. Me no don't tell you don't call off my blood clot phone when me there work. Y'all go suck your mother.
Whoa, not that cultural appropriation, this cultural appropriation.
Most important thing I learned is the violent execution of a good plan is probably the key to its success. Like when we used about a pound of C4 to blow off a door, the election headquarters back here, we probably took off a large portion of the roof and the back quarter of the building.
Eagle 2, this is lightfighter 1-1. How copy, over.
Contact! Contact! 1-1, this is Eagle 2, good copy, set traffic, over.
All right, what is up, Light Fighters? If you saw the intro, you saw that I displayed some of the 7th Infantry Division who are famous for this style of camouflage known as Manchu hair. And I've made my own kind of modern version of Manchu hair I think is badass. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how I put this together today, and we're gonna talk about how to look cool in the woods.
Do you think that a pound of C4 might have been overkill?
No, there's really no such thing as overkill here as far as I'm concerned.
All right, guys, I brought you here to the garage. This is gonna be more of Light Fighter arts and crafts than anything tactical. But today, we're gonna make some modern Manchu hair, some helmet covers for your helmet. I'll show you at least how I did mine. First things first, we need to get some supplies out. I've got my box of supplies right here. And mainly I use some very elementary stuff. Obviously, we've got rattle cans of camouflage paint, some 550 cord, which is good for about everything. And then specifically 2 things I had to buy for this project was I bought some bulk camo netting off Amazon. This is probably Chinese crap, but it's in a multi-cam pattern, at least on both sides it looks like. And this is just bulk camouflage netting. So I bought some of that. And then the other piece of cloth I bought was, I guess this is like a mesh, a breathable kind of fabric. It's really lightweight. You can see through it when you hold your eyes up to it. Guys can see that it's pretty nice and lightweight. So the original Manchu hair was actually made from old cut up strips of, woodland BDUs, or everybody's calling this stuff M81 now. And that's what you should do with it. You should shred it because it's lame. But modern Manchu hair is going to be made with, obviously we're going to try and improve on it. So I'm going to grab some lighter weight materials, some base materials that are lighter. The first thing we need to do is decide how big of a chunk we need. So what I did when I was cutting this last time is I just grabbed, obviously, a chunk of it. You can see where I chunked it. But I just grabbed a piece and I laid it over my helmet, and I was pretty rough with how much I cut off. So I'm just gonna do it again here. We'll make another one. Chopping about big old square that's gonna cover my helmet with no questions asked. There'll be a little bit of excess over all the sides. That's kind of what you want. And now you can see I took my big square of camo netting and I made a little square of camo netting. All right, let's put that there on the side. We'll need that in a second. And then also, I did a similar process. Now you don't need to measure this, but a similar thing with the other fabric. Just trying to find out where I cut it last time. Here it is. So you guys can see that I chunked off a good portion of fabric to make the actual hair last time, and I'm going to do the exact same thing this time. So I'll just start where I left off. Take a big hunk of this fabric. Now, you might be seeing something completely wrong with the 2 choices of fabric that I got. I'm going to go ahead and take this off the table. You might say, but Light Fighter, these are in multicam in tan. What is wrong with you? Well, I know. We're gonna fix that, okay? And that's what the spray paint is for. So, let me get those set up here. We'll need the lighter for the 550 cord in a minute. All right, so we are going to paint this fabric. So because it is multi-cam and ugly, we're going to paint it with green, with God's camo. and I would paint it even if it was M81 into green. But I'm gonna grab my two most obnoxious greens, maybe even some tans, or whatever I'm running out of primarily. And we're gonna just hit this all with a coat of green. I'm gonna use the magic of editing to do all this shaking. All right, guys, hopefully I pulled off a painting montage there or something, because that was just treacherous. My arm's tired from all these half cans of spray paint. But we have finished our two products here. We might end up needing a little bit more of this fabric, just depending on how much we're going with. I'm probably just going to add this to my current helmet scrim. But this is just what we've got. Multicam, but olive drabbier, so way better. And then same multicam camo netting, but with olive drabbiness. So I'm gonna let these dry for a little bit out here in the garage, and then we're gonna bust out some stuff and start showing you how to throw it onto an actual helmet and what the process is like. All right, so most of our little Manchu Hair products and materials are dry here. Let's just go ahead a little bit. I'm gonna go over how I've kind of got this on. To be honest with you, there's no right way of how to put this scrim on to your helmet, all right? The way I did it here was a combination of a lot of different things. First off, I put it on there, pulled it tight. I stripped all my stuff off first, all my patches, all my bungee cords and such, even my ears. I pulled all those off, and then I put this on over everything. And then when you get to this side, you're like, all right, how am I gonna attach this? Truth in the matter is, I really just kind of took this excess material, and you can see it's already fallen off because I've taken my night vision plate off and these bungees off. But normally they're kind of holding it on there. But what I did is just pulled my pads and stuffed this material down in between the pads and the plastic. If it's not staying, use some double-sided tape, use some glue, use some hook and loop material. This is kind of where you need to get creative. Now remember that this actual material doesn't have any sticky qualities to it for the hook and loop, so you need to kind of bundle it up into little small things and stick it around where your hook and loop fasteners are. So I really truly just went all the way around both sides, and when I got to the side here, what I did is a little bit of 550 cord magic. So it's going to be hard to tell and see in here, but right, so when I got to the ears, what I did here is we had a little bit of excess material hanging off the front and a little bit of hanging on the back, and I needed to kind of pull it all together. So I grabbed a couple loops of this material and I pulled it tight up to this, from the back to the middle, and a couple from the middle to the back, and then I just took this little 550 loop right here, and this is hard to see because it's just a bunch of small little material stuffed in there, but I just tied a loop amongst some of those. I just grabbed a bite of all that camouflage material netting and then tied a loop and pulled it in tight. Now you can do the same thing with shot cord or bungee cord or anything like that, but that just kind of tightens those ears up. And as you got this piece laying over your helmet, what it does is kind of pulls it all in right here. So you're just kind of taking a bite of that material. Once you've done that, then you can cut the excess off. So that makes that pretty nice. But again, attaching this, there's no real art form. You can use glue if you want to. That would work. Double-sided tape. The best thing to do is just try to get all your stuff as out of the way as it can be. All right, so I've gone around the edge, just pulling all the excess that I can. I put a little 550 cord loop there. I'm tucking this around corners where it'll go, and then just stuffing it underneath the pads. There's no real art form or scientific method to doing this. It's an art form. There. And then what's nice having these cool little nylon helmet covers, because they come with some bungee cords that can help you do this. So I like using my bungees. I just pull that down. That holds on the whole back section right there is that big bungee. And I think for the most part, we have the camo net pretty much on there, all around the edge. Now I need to retract my my comm wires here. So be it. I'm just gonna put that around my H-nape. But we'll do that later. Step 2 is pretty simple. Or I don't know what step we're on. What we're gonna do is next is we're gonna cut these into some strips. I like to go about 1 inch wide. Let's a foot long or so. It really doesn't matter. You could go longer than a foot. You can always trim them up if they're too long later on. So I just cut these about 1 inch wide. Irregular is actually better. You don't have to be precise. You don't want to be super precise. So I'm having trouble getting these little back corners behind my ears to stay down. There's not really a lot of padding over there for them to stay on, but I do have something that wasn't designed to be used like this, but I'm gonna use it like this. I just found a place where I can tie in my arc rails, whatever rails these happen to be on my helmet rails. And I'm just gonna tie a little knot and tie some of this Manchu down. All right, guys, last step is obviously, I need to reroute my ears here. But try your stuff on at home before you need to use it. Make sure everything sits okay. And then check out how fucking sweet you look. I gotta go look in the mirror. All right, I think we got a pretty good Manchu going on right here. Breaking up the silhouette of the shoulder line. So that's kind of what the important premise of actual camouflage. Other than that, looking like a wagwan brother. My wife begged me not to do that accent, so I won't do it anymore. But I think this is pinnacle, lightfighter, helmet, scrim, camouflage. This is the Manchu hair, guys. So if you don't like it, fuck you. No, I shouldn't say that. This is Manchu hair, stolen from the 7th ID. Cultural appropriation is okay as long as you do it well. Guys, rock on. This is Lightfighters Anonymous. Thank you so much for tuning in. Kiss your mothers before I do.
Is it true that you used to train your platoon live fire exercises by shooting at hamsters and other small animals?
Right, right. We used to, shoot and kill and eat live hamsters, anytime we got the opportunity.
Thank you.